and we finally finished looking at my Christmas 2018 Transformers haul. Now that we have, you know, the custom Combiner Wars Lyle Kaiser out of the way, and the Death Source out of the way, and the Transformers Prime series out of the way. Whew, I'm glad that's done. I guess now we can move on to the 2019 Christmas haul. Yeah, I'm not going to let this one go a year and a few days. We're going to do it right now, and we're going to start off taking a look at that haul with this guy. It is the Transformers Generations Select Star Convoy, and he'll be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, that's right, hit that notification bell so that you're always informed when there are new uploads on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors, and the Autobot family. Have a look for me everywhere across social media. And this is Star Convoy, who has kind of come with a bit of controversy. I like the Power of the Prime's Optimus mold. My only issue with it is that I found it to be too large. I believe that Optimus should be a Voyager size. Nevertheless, we do have that here, and this guy will be compared side by side to him. It's not mine, it belongs to one of the scraplets. However, when this was announced, I said, ooh, I like the mold. This is a perfect use for it for me. And then I started to hear about a couple of problems, most notably with this star on his chest being very loosey-goosey, but there is a bit of a fix for it. And once I got this guy in hand, I also wondered, hey, is there a way that we can at least sort of mimic his G1 base mode? And there is, and we're going to look at that as well. There's actually a lot more here to discover and explore than one would initially think. So let's head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. So fun fact, it was about 2 years ago, on January the 2nd of 2018, that we technically looked at this mold already. That was the Power of the Prime's Leader Class Evolution Optimus Prime iteration. This is the reuse for the Transformers Generation Selects line as Star Convoy. The original use that I have was released by Hasbro. This one is released by Takara, and those of you who know me and have been around the channel for some time will probably know that typically I'm not that impressed with Takara products. Actually, I find them to be rather poorly done with terrible, awful tolerances. I know a lot of people swear by them, but my experience has not generally been good. So will this one be as good or better than the Hasbro kind of usage and release of the mold? Well, possibly, because I did say recently on the live show on Thursday night, check it out if you haven't already, that this is hands down, bar none, the absolute best Takara offering I've ever handled. Big claim. Big claim. That's not to say, however, that it's perfect. In fact, there's a slight, I guess I'll say tolerance issue that there's an easy fix for, and I was even curious if there was a way to kind of pull off the traditional Star Convoy Micromaster base. And there's a version thereof that we can do, and I'll show that toward the end of things here. Nevertheless, we begin things by taking a look at this packaging. This is what was in the kind of mailing box that arrived, the shipping box that arrived. We have, you know, kind of simple outline here. Transformers, Generation Select Star Convoy down there. On the back, nothing, and on the bottom, kind of just administrative Japanese stuff, I guess. On the top, just Generation Selects, and when you slide that off, it's just typical boring Generation Selects box with kind of nothing else going on but what you see here. On the sides and top, just the usual branding. Great big huge set of glossy instructions. Okay, that's fine, I suppose. It's basically the conversion that we've seen before, a couple of slight differences along the way. And this is the blaster that comes with Star Convoy. It is literally the exact same blaster that came with Evolution Optimus Prime. Exact same thing, exact same color, exact same everything. The matrix of leadership, as it comes with Star Convoy, is this beautifully chromed piece. It has a little attachment piece on the bottom. The center of this matrix cannot come out. When we compare it to the Evolution Optimus Prime one, it is quite different. The Evolution Optimus Prime one does not have the little attachment at the bottom. The center can pop out. Why do we have a little attachment at the bottom of this one? Because it fits in here in the blaster. Now, fun fact, this is actually the blaster that came with the Evolution Optimus Prime, and this fits better on that than it does on the one that came with Star Convoy. With the Star Convoy blaster, it fits on the front piece fine, like it's fine there, but it's extremely loose on the back piece, enough that it just falls off, like it will not stay on. It is that poorly toleranced. So, I'm probably just going to trade out the two blasters. Why not? And no, baby, you are not seeing double. Head to head, eye to eye, face to face, we have Optimus Prime and Star Convoy. And there are a few little differences that you could see just from the side here. We're going to look at both the trailers and the cabs closer, but just from the side here, you can see that on Optimus, we have more gray along the bottom, as where we have red on Star Convoy. You may also be able to notice that on the top up here we have red, over here we have more gray. So there are slight differences in this vehicle mode for both of them. I will say this, the vehicle mode most definitely, most assuredly matches Optimus better than it matches Star Convoy. The biggest liberty with Star Convoy is definitely the vehicle mode. There's no doubt about it. Now, it's acceptable to me. I don't need it to be that perfect, and I kind of think that the official Star Convoy mode is kind of funky anyway, so I sort of dig this, but I can understand the argument that people would have that no, they don't want it like it. I had also said way back in episode 347, when I looked at the Evolution Optimus Prime, that some people might opt to use him as their iteration of Micromaster Optimus Prime. I don't know if it really works as that, but it's a fine offering anyway. The reds are slightly different. It may not even be noticeable on camera, but they are slightly different. Okay, let's kind of zone in a little bit and look at the the cabs first. I will note this. Before, in episode 347, we did the conversion going the way he comes in a package from robot to vehicle. This time the way he came in package was in vehicle, so we're going to do the conversion the other way back, and then we're going to do the conversion to the fan mode, base mode. And when we go cab to cab, front on, there's not a whole lot to see. Nothing really different. They both have a space in the chest for a matrix to go. They're both pretty much exactly the same right on the very front. On the side, things become more interesting. If we go down along the bottom, you'll see that Star Convoy actually has his hubcaps or his rims, whatever you want to call it. They are colored silver. We don't have that on the Evolution Optimus Prime. Also, right down at the very end, we're kind of where the toes would be, like way down right there, and same down on the other end near the bumper of the other cab, we can see that that molding is also different. So we have those differences, plus if we look at the cab itself, kind of just behind this section, just back here, we have like a squared off section that's the shoulder, and the forearms are sort of rounded. As where we have two sort of squared off sections here and here for Star Convoy, because of course these inner robots are going to be different. One is Orion Pax, one is a smaller version of Optimus Prime. Naturally, the other side, gonna look the same thing. The bottom, similar but not the same. Obviously the Orion Pax has more hollowness, especially in the lower legs. The thighs are the same, but the lower legs are definitely not. And the pelvis piece of Orion Pax is red, as where on the Optimus it is gray. Probably as it should be. And finally, the top. And the top-down view, we have more red on the top of Orion Pax than we do on Optimus. But the back section, where, I'm talking about the back blue section here, where the legs, the lower legs are, is filled in more on the Optimus, but it actually tabs together more securely, more solidly on the Orion Pax. So the Evolution Optimus Prime is a more solid cab in the back half than the Star Convoy is. The legs on the Star Convoy, at least on my copy, don't like to stay together at all. And now the conversion here should be pretty much similar to what we have already seen. So I'm going to just go through it very quickly to get this guy into his robot mode so that we can look at him first. So we begin by lifting off, if I can do it, there, that whole front tire, and we flip that up, and same over here, whole front tire, and flip that up, and then this whole section likes to, or should, flip out, and then there's a hinge in here that makes it flip around to the front. Same over here, the whole kind of side flips out, and using this blue hinge, we flip it out to the front. Now, to be fair, with some movement of the arms, this is really going to be the front chest of Star Convoy. I think we already all know that though. For now, we're going to take this arm and flip it out and open it down, and take this arm and flip it out and open it down. And we're going to take this chest piece here and untab it and flip it up and put the head down. And of course now we need to back things up a little bit because we're going to stand this guy up. And as you can see, when we start to stand him up, he's getting too tall. And so after we stand him up, we can kind of come down here and turn the legs forward. And then there are feet in here. They should just flip out there. Take them from the side, and now he can stand up. We come here, and we fold out that hand and rotate the arm forward. We come here, and we rotate the hand out, and rotate the arm forward, and boom. In the end, here we have Optimus Prime. And here he is next to the Power of the Primes Orion Pax. And like they should be the same height, but I feel like the Optimus is slightly taller. I'm not sure. Either way, these guys are definitely bigger than Deluxe, and that's what they've always kind of been called, Deluxe. But here he is next to a couple of Siege Deluxes. And with Siege, Voyager class Optimus Prime. So he's definitely height-wise Voyager class. I suspect the reason he has been labeled as a Deluxe is because there's a bit more hollowness there and the mass of plastic used is lower. But I think most people to the naked eye would look at it and say, nah, it's a Voyager, man. Now, how well does he actually embody Optimus Prime? Pretty well, actually. I mean, we have the squared off shoulders, as we should. We have the yellow on his pelvis as it should be. We're missing the blue on his lower pelvis, which I just recently painted the blue on the lower pelvis of the Siege one because it's accurate, it's correct. I did have to mix an indigo blue with another blue to get the right shade, but it's certainly doable. He has the gray line just under his window chest. He has his window chest. The head sculpt is great. I wish the eyes weren't yellow, but that is toy accurate. The hands are blue, so I like that. I wish the elbows weren't gray. But the legs, being kind of gray on the top and lower legs being blue is good. Honestly, I said that the Orion Pax was a fantastic iteration of that character. I think that this is a pretty great Optimus Prime if somebody wants to actually use it as Optimus Prime. In fact, some people might wonder, hey, can you just trade up the Orion Pax and the Optimus? I suppose you could, but the reds are slightly different, so I don't think it would really look quite right. Nevertheless, this is a really good start, an easy transformation that's probably a 10. It's easy, but it's involved and interesting. And a little bit different for Optimus Prime. The paint apps at this point, they're pretty great. A solid 9 for sure. What about the articulation? Actually, the articulation has a lot going for it. We have the head that goes left and right and kind of goes up, wiggles up and down a bit. The arms can go all the way around. Oh, it feels like soft ratchets, actually. They can go all the way out, but they don't... They can go all the way out, but no, I guess they can go out that far. It's not all the way out, but it's decent. There's a double elbow. There's a bicep swivel. There's no hand swivel, but I suppose you can bend the hand back like if you had a sword or something in it. No waist? Yeah, no waist. The thighs, they can go, or the legs can go that far out to the side, which isn't perfect splits, but like it's pretty acceptable, I think. The legs can go back that far. They can go forward, really kind of all the way. We have a knee to 90 degrees, bringing this down. We have a thigh swivel. So he has a lot. The only thing you have to be careful of, and I find that you have to be careful of it with Optimus, but you didn't really have to be careful of it the same with Orion Pax, is this kind of hip piece that this whole joint is in. Sometimes it likes to get a little bit caught up, and this leg will just pop off of the ball joint sometimes. But if you make sure to move the hip skirt with it, then it's fine. I don't think that it really hurts the articulation. A waist would be nice. I mean, ankle tilt would be nice. You know, a wrist swivel would be nice. There's things here that would be nice, but I'll say overall, for now, the articulations, it's a pretty good 7.5, 8, something like that. It's not bad for what it is. I sort of showed the chest mode earlier. The only other thing really to note in terms of that transformation is you bring down the chest and you bring out the head like that, and you will fold this head in and fold the chest back up. You do the same thing as you did with Orion Pax. Well, from the bottom, the trailers actually look very, very different. There's a ton more red on the bottom of Star Convoy than there is for Optimus. Optimus has a lot more gray plastic with red paint, as where Star Convoy has a lot more red plastic. You will also notice under Star Convoy we have his shoulder cannon things and of course his star piece here. They both have this button here. Once you lock in the chest piece to unlock it to take it out, though some people just tug on it, you shouldn't. You should press the button here or the button here as the case may be. Otherwise it's about the same. The top also naturally looks a little bit different with a more vibrant red here, and the red continues all the way down the arm as where we have the gray breaking up part of it in there. I don't think we should have had the gray breaking it up in there, to be honest. I think it all should have been red going down. We already looked at the side, so we know what that's like. It's the same on both sides. The Optimus has more gray. The back end, I would say, looks the same. Okay, so I figured that probably the easiest way to do this was to actually kind of stand the guy up, and we may have to adjust as we go and he gets a little bit taller, but we'll see as time flies. Nevertheless, you can kind of tell that this is going to be the back of his body. I hope at least you can tell that. And we begin things with the trailer just as we would with Evolution Optimus Prime by turning it around, and there's a little spot here for your thumb to be able to flip that piece up on that side, and the same on the other side, and we can flip those two pieces up. We can also then come in and flip up this little tab by untabbing it from right there, and do the same over here. There's a little tab that flips up there. By the way, if you happen to notice on the top of this finger a cut, I did that while I was doing a bit of custom work and a little bit of custom cutting and a little bit of custom shaving actually, and blade slipped, you know, dangers of customizing. So if you notice that, that's what happened. So we have all of that out. Then we can split the legs, and we can bring this out and bring this out. And we should be able to take these arms and get them sort of out of the way now. So we bring that out, probably even fold that in, there. And then we can bring this arm out of the way for now. And same thing here, fold it up, fold that in under, and we can just fold that out of the way for now. Obviously his legs are at a little bit of an angle, so we will straighten them up. Straighten them up, and we're even going to take this, a lot of people talk about this ankle, and we bring it up until it snaps in place, and it will snap in place. You bring it up and forward and you'll hear it snap in place. Obviously now he's starting to get a little bit taller, so I'm just going to straighten up his knees, and we have him stood up. I'm gonna back things up so that we can kind of keep going here and get things out of the way for this guy. Okay, I think that should probably do it. So we come to the legs now, and we straighten this out, and we fold that piece down, and then this whole piece folds around to the back of the leg, and then in. But I guess I should have pointed this out. There's a tab right here that goes into a spot just behind the leg here and holds all of this together. It tabs in there pretty securely actually. And we got that in. We do of course the same thing over on this side where we straighten this up, we bring this down, we fold this around to the back, we fold it around the rest of the way, we fold it in and we tab it in, and that is the lower body of this guy done. Now all we have to do is kind of finish off with the arms. We take his trailer hitch and we push that up if it wasn't already done. The arms here come over to the side and we bring them up, straight up. How do we know that this is the correct orientation to bring these up? Because we want the Autobot symbol on the shoulders to, of course, be facing the right way. Then we take this whole thing and we fold it down and we come to the back here where this piece is and we fold it up and tab it in place, and I guess we bring his little cannons forward out to the side a bit if you are so inclined. Over here we do the same thing. We fold this down. It folds down nicer on the Takara one than it does on the Hasbro one. It's a bit tighter on the Hasbro one and frightens me a little bit. And we tab that in, and again we bring that out to the side. Now, that leaves us with his chest piece here, this star. And you bring the star forward. On mine, initially, this was a very tight hinge, very scary. It will move, but be careful with it the first time. Once it goes, it seems like it's fine, but be careful with it the first time. Now, you bring it up and you bring it all the way out and down. And now that all that's done, and because my camera battery died, we need to address now the elephant in the room. I don't know if it was a clean cut to go to this or not. If it wasn't, I apologize. If it was, then great. But we need to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the star piece that comes up over the chest. Out of package, a lot of people have complained and said that when you bring this up, it will go in. Yes, actually a lot of people have said it won't go in, but it will go in, but it won't stay securely and tends to pop out if you look at it funny. And I was concerned I would have the same problem. Indeed, I did fresh out of package. Once I put the chest piece in here, this did not like to flip off. Too bad, so sad. But somebody told me, and I'm sorry I don't remember who it was, that there is actually a fix for it. They said, remove the star piece, which admittedly the entire star piece is gold chrome. So I was afraid of it being brittle. I always find chrome plastic potentially a little more rigid and thereby a little more potentially brittle, but my piece did pop out. And then this red piece in here, you simply pop it out, you turn it over, and you pop it back in, and then you put this piece back in, and apparently that works. Indeed, it does work. That star goes up and stays in very securely on mine now. Not a problem at all. I don't know why it wasn't originally manufactured that way to begin with. I will say this. Actually, I'll pop this in first, because now you can come here and pop this in. I will say this. The little notch that's right there is actually on the Evolution Optimus Prime, so I don't know if that was a design thing and a happy accident, or if they knew 2 years ago that that was going to be reused for this. My suggestion to you is that they probably knew it was going to be reused for this. Nevertheless, at this point now you can bring this up over, position the red piece the right way, bring this up over, tab it in, and it's all nice and flush. And when I take this guy and shake him, like, it does not, I mean, I'm shaking him pretty vigorously, and that does not at all move in the least. But in the end, boom, here we have Star Convoy. Oh, while I'm at it, I guess I might as well give him his blaster with the Matrix on it. Here we have Leader Class, I suppose, Star Convoy, and here he is next to Leader Class Optimus Prime, and there are some significant differences here. It's definitely not a straight up mold reuse. The sections, going from the top of the head down, the head has been altered because now we have this chrome piece here. The top of the shoulder pieces are completely different. This is just flat. The smokestacks that are on the back of the arms here are absent here. I think going down the arms, I think they're pretty much the same. I think the trailer pieces are pretty much the same. Going down the torso, the whole midriff section of Optimus is different than the midriff section on Star Convoy. The thighs are the same, the hips are the same, the lower legs are completely molded differently, and the feet are the same. From the side, the boys looked like this, and I really wish that the Optimus had had more red plastic. From the back, and that's how the two of them look. And going back around to the front, I need to address one more elephant in the room, and that is the ankles. The ankles do lock in. A lot of people said they don't lock in. Yes, they do, but I've had people come back and say mine are still wobbly even after locking them in. Here's the interesting thing, and I never understood it until I got Star Convoy. When I push the feet of Optimus enough that they lock in, the rest of his ankle articulation is snug and tight, and he stands like a champion. However, even after locking the ankles in on this guy, there's still a lot of movement, because here's the thing, and I'll use Optimus here as an example. You lock the ankle in, and you still have a movement down, and a movement up, and a left, and a right. And I figured that the problem that people were talking about was the fact that the ankle didn't lock in at all. No, the looseness people refer to is the hinge left and right, and forward and back. On my Optimus, all of those are pretty tight, and he stands great. However, on Star Convoy, all of those are loose, and he does, if he's leaned back a bit, he'll fall over. If he's leaned forward a bit, he'll fall over. Now I understand it, because Takara has poor tolerances, as Takara usually does. The other thing I wanted to address is the size. I have said for years that I think that Optimus and Megatron should be Voyager class. Why? Because Deluxe is too small. There's definitely characters that are smaller than them, but traditional leader size seemed too big, at least from my sense of scale, because, and the argument always was, I don't believe Optimus is quite as big as Ultra Magnus, or more importantly, Jetfire. And I stood by that for a long time. So if I think that Optimus should be Voyager class, why am I okay with Star Convoy being a leader class? Well, I'm okay with that because Star Convoy should be bigger. In fact, when he was reawakened, reincarnated by Atlas, he was bigger. So much so that he was actually a Micromaster base. Now, I think he was supposed to be a full-sized base, but I'm okay with him being leader size to work as a Micromaster base. Now, I know what you're gonna say. This Star Convoy goes from a truck to a robot. He ain't no base, but he can pull a base mode off, and we're gonna see how that can be done. That's reminiscent of his original mode. Reminiscent. Maybe not perfect, but reminiscent. And we're gonna see if we can make some of the kind of Siege Micromasters sort of work with it. Kinda, sorta. So the trick to doing this is to know kind of how the pieces need to move and what they sort of need to look like. And it's kind of him sitting down, to be honest with you. So we take this out of his hand. And the first thing that I kind of noticed was that, A, you have the head stay in there. Now you can pop the whole chest piece out. I probably will. But for now, we will just bring the arms up. Because guess what? The G1 just kind of has the arms up. And we'll even bring them out to the side for now. The real trick here is in how we deal with the hips. And since the hips don't go all the way out to the side, we need to actually bring a leg up and rotate it around at the hip and then bring it all the way up. Same on the other side. We bring it up. Since it doesn't quite go all the way out, it almost goes all the way out, but we want it all the way out. We want this guy to sit flat. So we bring it up all the way like that, and then we should be able to lay him down. Kinda, sorta. Obviously he's falling back, so that's not going to really work. So what do? We come here and we open that all the way out. We come here and we open that all the way out, and now he will actually sit. But unfortunately, we have the legs now all the way to the back. That's not really what we want either. So, when you open these out, you're actually going to leave them to the front here a little bit. And leave them to the front here a little bit. You're going to open out that, and you're going to open out that. And you're going to take the feet, and these, hold on, will go pushed back, and this one will go pushed back, if you're so inclined. I prefer having the feet that way. Then you can bring these, you should be able to bring these arms down and bring these arms down. And I personally like to have the legs kind of straight. And I know I'm sort of fiddling here a little bit, but it's because it's like it's hard for me to remember exactly how it was that I did this. Bringing that forward, bringing that forward. Bring this down. Like that. Put that there and have that there. And really, kind of, in the end, here you have him in his base mode. Now, that being said, there are kind of things you can do with this because that's awfully plain. But it was one that I saw. You can, and I would suggest, pop out the chest. That would be suggestion number one. Then, even though the arms are supposed to be down, I would suggest bringing them up and at least flipping out these pieces. Maybe even straighten the arm up. Maybe even pop that a little bit. And I would suggest probably leaving this one down. Maybe you could open it out and leave it down. Not really. Maybe open that out. Just to give it a little more dynamic of a look. In the end, what does mine actually look like? Because this is just a couple of options, and granted they're kind of rough. Here's what mine sort of looks like when it's all cleaned up. This is what I end up with. Now I did try to show you a couple of options, and it probably looked a little bit stumbly-fumbly, to be honest with you. Which is why I kind of jumped right to this. All that I did was exactly what I showed you with the legs, which is turn them at the thigh so that they kind of come up and like rest as they should. He was sort of back heavy and falling back, so you do need to adjust the thighs. You need to open out these pieces. You could flip them all the way back if you want him to sit a little bit lower. I don't. I leave them out front. I also showed how you could bend the knees. I don't. I leave him doing like straight-legged splits, so to speak. I like to leave the torso piece in there. I'm taking the Micromasters out of it. I think that we know that they interact pretty nicely with them. I like to leave this chest piece in there and open it up to show the matrix with this piece being down. It can, of course, close during times of battle, or the base can retain most of its look while the torso comes out and becomes Optimus Prime to defend the base. In terms of how it looks turning around, well, there it is on the side. And around back, I do extend the legs to help with extra stability on the back. He doesn't really need it. This guy's actually pretty stable now without that, but why not? It sort of extends the base and it gives, you know, another, I don't know, like computer workstation for a Micromaster, and maybe like another workstation over. He doesn't want to stand up. Over right there, and this guy is, you know, standing up there, and maybe this little lad here is over here at this computer workstation. I don't know. You know, it's like, it's all options, and this guy, that lad is just standing up there, you know? Like, you can put Micromasters all over the place with this guy. It's a, I don't know, decent little mobile base, maybe? Maybe? Possibly. But the fact that he can pull off some semblance of a mode for this base impresses me. So, what about the scores? Well, here's what we need to know first. The chrome on my star right at the very top here is sort of rubbed off. Not chipped off, rubbed off. But it came like at a package. So I'm going to say that in terms of a look for Star Convoy, this is largely accurate to that look. I'm going to say close enough that it's a solid 9 at least. If we go by the limited animation for Star Convoy, potentially there's like supposed to be like gray in around his bicep, maybe. I don't know. Like, I think that this is a case where we kind of have to go by the G1 release of the character, that Micromaster base. In which case, in terms of robot mode, it's a 10. In terms of base mode, you know what? It's a respectable homage to that base mode. I mean, it's not quite right, no, but it's a respectable homage to that base mode. Enough that I'm going to say that it's a solid 8. The truck is the one that's off the most. It's about a 7. So overall, I'm going to say about an 8.5 for accuracy. Not bad. In terms of the transformation between all modes, I think it's great, honestly. I'm going to say it's solid 9. So right now at 8.75. What about the articulation? Well, we did the articulation of the small robot. It's okay. The articulation of the bigger robot is exactly like it was for Power of the Prime's Optimus Prime, where we have full range of motion in the arms. The head can go left and right and up and down. The hips go out to the side. So far, they can kick back pretty good. Kicking forward, they're a bit limited by the waist skirt. There is a 90 degree at the knee. There is a thigh swivel, obviously. There's ankle forward, back, left, and right that's a little bit loose. I said for Optimus, when you take both parts all together, it's about a 7.5. It's still about a 7.5 here. Overall, as a representation of Star Convoy, this guy is about an 8. Not perfect, but pretty good nonetheless. And honestly, for me, an 8 for a Takara offering is pretty stellar. And so here we are, and here he is. It would be lovely if we were able to put the Orion Pax version of the smaller robot in here. But the red is just slightly off. I guess you could do it, but you're going to have to accept that the red is not quite going to look right. It wouldn't work for me, let's put it that way. The inner little Optimus is alright. It's as good as the Orion Pax was. It's molded nicely. I still wish it didn't have yellow eyes, but whatever. I don't plan to kind of leave that out. And I do understand why it would follow the evolution gimmick, because we have Optimus who becomes Star Convoy. It's funny, you know, the more things change, the more they stay the same. I mean, through all of the like G1 lore that there is, through all of the Optimus and Rodimus and Star Saber and Die Atlas, and I'm probably forgetting some, we all come back to Optimus Prime, even if he wants to be renamed as Star Convoy. Of course, then we went to Beast Wars, and that was a whole other thing. My understanding is that this happened before the Beast Wars. I don't know. That's my understanding of the timeline. Nevertheless, I feel like that it's okay for Star Convoy to not be a Voyager size and be a leader size, because when Optimus got resurrected by Die Atlas, he came back upgraded and bigger. Now, yes, the truck version here looks more like Optimus than Star Convoy. But I'm okay with that. I can accept it. Taking out that little red hinge in there and turning it around and popping this piece out and turning it around makes this star super solid and secure. I don't know why they just didn't like manufacture it that way to begin with. I don't know, it's a little bit better. It's a simple thing and you wouldn't think it would make a difference, but it does. And I'm not the guy who came up with it, but you know what? I know now it's worked on a few people's copies. Maybe it will work on yours. And maybe you're somebody who hasn't had any issue with that. The ankles, they do lock in. However, they are looser on this guy than they are on my copy of the Power of the Primes mold. It'd be nice if they were a little bit tighter. But I will say this. I have often, and I've said it before, I'm just going to restate it, I have often complained and said that I don't like Takara products. I find them all to be poorly made, loosey-goosey, they look nice, but that's about it. This is, and I stand by it, bar none, the best Takara product I have ever held, used, owned, any of it. It functions great, except for these ankles. Every hinge is great on it. Turning the star around was a very minor thing to do, though popping the star out was a little scary because of it being chromed. I kind of wish that this and his head wasn't chrome. Like, I would have been cool with just silver up there and with this being like a yellow, but you know what, it is chromed like a yellow, like his little headlight things there. But it is chromed, and that's cool. I'll leave it. It is what it is. I'm happy with this. I don't need it any bigger. It can even mimic the base, and you know what, when it's in base mode, it's a fine enough size for Micromasters. And what do you know, with the Siege line, we actually have Micromasters that can interact with this guy. I think it's a win, and I think it's a success, and I'm happy with it. Let me know what you think about Star Convoy here. Is he for you? Are you excited about maybe the prospect one day of getting a Super Megatron or an Ultra Megatron? Maybe Star Giant? I'd even be down with Dark Nova, man. Give us a Dark Nova, as weird as that might be. Lot of options this guy opens up as far as I'm concerned, and I absolutely dig him. I hope you do too. Thanks for dropping by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I know how important it is to you. Please, if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, use the donate link down in the description. Of course, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out so very much. Stick around, have some fun with us. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every day, you do very much make a difference. And I look forward to the next time, man, that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.